Okay, so the newest episode of The Boys came out today, and I honestly I have to really talk about it because I think it's genuinely like one of the worst things I've ever watched. I don't really do this for shows. I kind of like just watch the shows and figure out my feelings later. But this was kind of the first time that I've ever watched a show where I felt like this show strayed away from what it was trying to be, and became just more shock value instead of like actual good jokes. Actual funnies. Because again, like I think The Boys is a fine show. I think season 3 was kind of spectacular, but this season, to me, it's been up and down. It hasn't really been the most exciting thing in the world. It's been kind of, whatever. Season 3, I think, was just such a high point where everything was on point. Every little story beat, every character, everything just seems so perfect. But when going into this season, I feel like there's some things that are better than others. Just the fact that I've watched this episode and I feel like I have to talk about this just tells you like how like genuinely disappointed I am, because that newest episode to me is probably the worst episode of the entire show, and I have to sit here and tell you that I feel very weird saying that, because this show doesn't really have bad episodes. I would say like almost every episode of the show is banger after banger after banger, because there's always something in it that like I can always get something out of. Like there's always a good scene with Homelander or Billy or Huey that really like makes it better. But I kind of just sat here, watched that episode, and it kind of just made me feel gross. And like not like the good, the boys, oh, you feel gross, but just like genuinely just like, why am I watching this show? And I think it just has something to do with the writing, and I think that's just the main problem with the season as a whole, is that the writing is a little pretentious this season. A little bit is, and I'm not one of those people who's like, wait, were they making fun of me the entire time? I'm not even like conservative. I don't care about those jokes. I think they're funny. I think a lot of it is very true about conservatives nowadays, and that's fine for them to make those jokes. But I don't think those jokes are the problem. The jokes that they're making that are the problem to me are the jabs at weird superheroes. And I'm not even like 90% of the time, like I think the Homelander bits are good. The Deep is funny. Black Noir is funny. All these characters are funny, but just like this newest episode was probably just the worst of those jokes and just the laziest. And I feel like at the end of the day, when do we differentiate this from just being really good parody or mean-spirited, just gross out humor? And I mean, The Boys has done that before, sure, but it hasn't been like this bad before. Which is why I'm here. Like, I'm here to tell you that, like, man, episode 6, I think it's called Dirty Business, is just so bad. It is unbelievably dog shit. There's nothing I can really get out of this episode other than the fact that I had to watch torture porn with Huey, and I had to watch Tech Knight be a weirdo, and this weird ass Spider-Man parody that has no original joke tied down to it. Like a parody of Spider-Man that was done better and Invincible, and every other time Josh Keaton voices a parody of Spider-Man. This one was just not funny, and it's sad because there's like one funny bit in this episode with the Deep, as it's like he thinks that him and Black Noir were buddies. I think that's funny. I don't know about you, but I just can't get behind an episode that is so pretentious and so like thinking that it's the smartest thing in the world when it comes to some of the jokes towards characters like Batman and Spider-Man. I don't know. I just feel like some of that was a little bit mean-spirited, especially towards Spider-Man of all things, which is weird. I mean, I guess you can make Batman like a weird pervert, but like Spider-Man in this universe seems it's so weird that they made him also a pervert, but also like a drug addict, and like doing the lazy thing of the webs coming out of his butt and everything like that. Like, that is lazy to laziness. It isn't funny. Like, I'm sure the writers room, they thought everything they wrote for that character was funny, but it really wasn't. I feel like just like this episode just had no real direction. Nothing really changed in it. I don't feel like anything changed. I feel like some of the points in this episode are just run-of-the-mill boys stuff, and that's it. That's all you're getting. And I feel like that's weird. It feels weird to have just a run-of-the-mill The Boys episode of really gross out, like the worst gross out humor in the show. And it just feels weird to say, like, there's nothing of value in this episode. I watched it, I didn't enjoy it, and I don't know. It just seems like this episode is mostly just clip farming. You know, like, clip farming from, like how Twitch streamers clip farm shit like Kaizenat and Spee. Like, they clip farm all the goddamn time, and this episode seems like it was just Twitter farming, which is just get everybody's gross out reactions to everything that happens in this episode, and then we have a good one. But I feel like this doesn't deserve that, you know? But it is getting that. A lot of people are saying it's a good episode, which is weird. I don't know why, but it's like, it's getting what it wanted. Just some Twitter clip farming nonsense that just makes this entire show so much worse for it. But yeah, I think the worst, like, offense at, like, a joke in this episode, like, an attempt at it, was Zendaya is the safe word. I kid you not, when I heard that, I was like, it's that lazy, huh? We're really making jabs at the Spider-Man act. Okay, hey, now I understand what this was about. Now, okay, whatever. I guess it just, man, I don't know. Those could have been done a lot better. I feel like if the story was a little bit better, I feel like there's less Huey being tortured. I think it would have been a million times better in this episode. I don't know. There's so many different ways you could take a lot of these characters, especially if you're not going off of the comic, and I feel like doing this is probably the most laziest thing in the world. And I feel like this episode just wasn't very good. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it. Oh yeah, what is Homelander's plan? Like, can I just ask that question? Like, what is his plan? I don't understand. Is he trying to overthrow the government? Sure. Put Newman in charge, which is fine. But, like, what is he gonna do after? What does he want with that? Why is he making camps? What is he gonna do with the camps? I don't understand Homelander's plan and what he wants to do. If someone can explain that to me, then honestly, I'll be fine. But I just don't get it. I just don't understand the season right now. I feel very just so lost right now. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know. I used to like this show a lot, but the newest episode just made me feel, I guess, like, bad. And I'm sure that's what they wanted. But you got it. You got your gross out humor, but it was probably the worst way you could have done it. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person who thinks this way, but yeah, that's how I feel. I don't know. I'm still gonna watch the season. We'll see how it goes. If it isn't good, I'll come back here in like 2 weeks and tell you how bad it was, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Bye.